Well, I figure I'd do this video to train my AI because I could use the transcript from this video to upload and train the AI, and I can also use it for content. So I figure I kill, how they say the phrase, kill two birds with one stone. So I don't want to bore you with my whole life story, but I just want to give you a little bit of my past. I believe I was in my late 30s. My only child, my daughter, was already born. She was like 4 or 5. I did have a brick and mortar cell phone business back in 98. Well, pagers were going out, cell phones were coming in, so it was a transitional time in technology, which is ironic that I'm doing something in technology now. But I really didn't know what I was doing when I had that store. It was in Stamford, Connecticut. I believe I lasted from 98 to about 2001 doing things in the gray area, so not so legal, just to stay afloat. And it was rough. But the thing I really didn't understand is I didn't understand about credit. I really didn't know a lot about personal credit, even though I had it in the past. Before I met my kid's mom, who's not a big age gap, but she's like 6 years younger than me. So mentally we were close because I was young-minded, but let's just say I don't want to give too much of her backstory, but she became an addict. To this day, is still off and on drugs, and thank God she's not in my state of Connecticut. She's down south. My daughter and her little sister, who's not mine biologically, have learned to deal with it and live with it. Ironically, my mom was also on drugs at a young age. Thank God she's off it now, and she's living quietly in South Carolina. So my kid's mom's in North Carolina, my mom's in South Carolina. And a part of me feels like it's my fault because subconsciously I involved myself with somebody that was very much like my own mother, which is crazy to me. But that's the only, probably, well, it gets worse, but I don't want to go too deep. My mom pretty much drove my father, who was well respected in the community at one time. He used to work at this, he was a chef at this diner in South Norwalk called Donovan's. A lot of people still know Donovan's to this day. I don't know if they're still open, but it was pretty popular. He became an alcoholic, probably due to my mother's drug use. My mother's parents raised me, then later took my 2 younger brothers, raised them. They did an amazing job. My father's parents, his father died. I never really liked his mother, but she raised my cousins. So that's the sob story part of my life. Most of my life, I didn't know what category I fall in, because I wasn't quote unquote hard enough to be a thug, even though I did some crime. I don't want to make it sound like I was super innocent, because I did some crime in my life, stealing and so forth. But I wasn't quote unquote considered a thug. I was quiet and shy, so a lot of people assumed I was smart. So they assumed I was a nerd. They just assumed. To this day, one of my guys that I went to high school with, he couldn't understand why I wasn't like smart, because I was quiet and shy. But I wasn't smart. Barely graduated high school, probably with a C- average. So I was picked on quite a bit. I was named after my father, so I was Wilbert Blanding Jr. Later in life, I guess when I got the entrepreneurial bug, and I believe it was 2012, when I was living in Waterbury, I legally changed my name to William because people referred to me as Will. And the nickname that my grandparents gave me was Bootsy, so I legally made that my middle name. Now, people think the middle name's funny, but it's unique. So my real legal name is William Bootsy Blanding, on my ID, everything. And I dropped the junior because I'm no longer a junior. I think part of the reason for the name change is I really wasn't close to my dad anyways. Even when he was sober, he just really wasn't there. He was working all the time. When he wasn't working, he didn't bother spending time with me. And he kind of was resentful that my grandmother raised me. I don't think he liked it. I think he thought it was going to make me even softer. You know what I mean? But he had the opportunity to raise me. He was there. Granted, you got to work. When you get out of work, you got to spend some time with your kids. But that's a whole nother story. I wouldn't say I hate him, but I just really never got a bond with him, even though I live with him. So, fast forward, I to this day, I do have a relationship with my mom because she's down south. If she was in Connecticut, we probably wouldn't get along. Same thing with my kid's mom. My daughter, who's married and has 2 daughters of her own, they're in Connecticut. I see them a lot, so I am a grandfather. They're the love of my life, and probably the reason why I'm making these videos. And I built an AI marketing agency, and I'm probably gonna go on and do more things in life. Is basically so my family could be proud of me, and hopefully I can leave this earth and leave some assets, if nothing else, for my family. But that's a little bit of my backdrop. Like I said, I had the brick and mortar store from 98 to 2001. I didn't know about personal credit. I didn't know about business credit, which is one of the reasons why I didn't survive. Excuse me. I went back to retail. My longest and last retail job was Bed Bath & Beyond. I was there 10 years. I hated it. I absolutely hated it. A lot of the people, they acted like they're still in high school. Some of them were 10 to 15 years younger than me. So I guess in retail, once you get like over 30s, you're almost considered old unless you're a manager. And I was going in after a failed business, and I was already like 37, I believe, when I started Bed Bath. And by the time I left, I was 47. So I was there a solid 10 years. I was at the first store for a good 7 years. Then I got transferred to another Bed Bath closer down here to Hartford in Farmington. It's no longer there, but the last 3 years I got transferred there. So I just hated it. A lot of people act like they were high school. They were picking on me because I was old and I wasn't a manager. It was just, I hated being on someone else's time, which I'm sure a lot of you hated that. I absolutely hated being on someone else's time. I couldn't really I was responsible for my grandmother at the time. That was another thing, because my grandmother was getting older. She was dying. My mom eventually came from down south to help me, but it was towards the end. And I tried off and on to do some stuff online. I made some money in affiliate marketing, even back then, using YouTube, and I made a couple bucks, but nothing significant. And I think I blame that partly on a lack of education, not knowing about credit, not knowing really about business. But at least I got out there and tried. If you don't get out there and try, you're never gonna experience what if. And I tried and I failed. I tried and I failed. I tried and I failed. And when I left Bed Bath, I had set up an LLC, but that kind of failed. I had a business with my brother, but that kind of failed. What makes me finally get it and finally understand was just failing over time. And even though I was failing, I was documenting over my life and over the years and coming to you guys telling me, and I finally got a holding company, but even that was set up wrong because I followed the advice of somebody that didn't know what they were doing on YouTube. And fast forward to this day, I would say the major things I've learned is money management after failing and being scammed so many times. I learned about personal credit, how important it is. I had to screw up my credit twice. This is my second time fixing my credit. So I had to fail twice before I finally got it in my head. This is important. You're running out of life. You know, not that I believe I'm going to die tomorrow, but I don't have forever. So I got to get this right. I finally understand personal credit, business credit, and corporate credit. I understand the game. And it is like a game. It's a game that we all got to learn how to play. It's a game that's going to take you time. If you don't have a coach or a mentor, you are going to fail even more if you don't have that, which is okay if you're willing to go through that. But a lot of people, I would say the majority of people, you're just not willing to take the risk to learn the processes and what you got to do, and learn about personal credit, learn about business credit. And it's not just watching videos on YouTube. You got to get out there and try some stuff. Set up your own LLC. Try some things out. Try affiliate marketing. Even try being a sole proprietor. This is why I do like the gig economy for this reason. It gives you an introduction into at least being a sole proprietor, an independent contractor. You don't have necessarily the tax ID, and you don't have the articles, and you don't have the business bank account, but you're still kind of learning how to be a business. All you got to do is set up that LLC and have that same money go to that LLC, and now you have a real business. It's really kind of that simple, really. Now you have a real business. The only difference is you don't put a money aside for taxes. You're not doing your due diligence to get the software to track your deductions. I did none of that when I had the brick and mortar store. None of it. Nobody taught me. I just went out and tried some stuff. And then I ended up lasting barely for 3 years. Several different partners. They, mostly didn't understand business themselves. So I was going into business with people that didn't even understand business. The only thing I know now, that if I knew then what I know now, I probably would have been rich like 10 years ago. Maybe not rich, but definitely a six-figure earner. So I would say high middle class. If I just took this knowledge and just went back in time. So I know what to do now. After a lot of trial and error, making mistakes, doing this wrong, doing that wrong, found this guru. And I like YouTube because you kind of can get somewhat of an education without buying a course. So I believe if you follow certain people on YouTube, you're getting an education, because if they're a good teacher, they're telling you what they did wrong. A lot of people don't like him, but Glendon Cameron, he does tell you what he did wrong in the past. What's his name? Gary V. He tells you all the time what he did wrong in the past. Myron Golden, he tells you what he did wrong in the past and what he's doing right now. So it's a lot of people on YouTube that can give you an education without buying a course. So you can get an education for free. You can. Nobody else is telling you this. You can get a good business education for free just by following the right people on YouTube. Just by following the right people on YouTube, you can get the right education. But sometimes that's not enough. Because if you're just watching, a lot of times I've seen people go 10 years just watching. Never try to set up an LLC, never try to set up a business, just watch. Never set up a YouTube channel. They didn't do any of the steps that the people they watch said to do. So they don't understand business or credit. They don't understand it. And it took me a while trying this, to really get it, to really understand. You gotta get out there and try some stuff to really learn. And a lot of you just aren't willing to do that. They're just not willing to take that chance. People in my own family, they're just not willing to take that chance. I think I'm willing to take more risk because I don't have any young children at home. I don't have a lot of responsibilities, just myself. I do have roommates, but it's mainly just me. My daughter has her own family to worry about. But because I don't have no young children or a wife in my ear, maybe that's why I'm willing to take more risk, and why I think people over 40, especially if you have adult children, need to get out there and try some stuff. It's not too late. Unless you're in the hospital bed dying, it's not too late. Get out there, try some stuff, make some money for the future, make some money for your family. Even if you made an extra $1,000 a month, that's life-changing for a lot of people. That's life-changing. It might not pay your whole rent, but that's damn near at least more than half of most of your rent. That's definitely a car note. That's definitely a light bill, gas bill. It could be as simple as you set up an LLC. Let's say you have a full-time job, you set up an LLC, you have just your Uber and Lyft money go in, you drive maybe 4 hours after work, and maybe all day, Saturday and Sunday. That right there could bring you in an extra $700 to $1,000 a week. Not a month, a week. That's enough to support an LLC. Put that money in. Pay yourself a small portion of that. Put away some of it for taxes. And now you've helped your family grow. I think you should make this a family thing and have both your incomes. If you're husband, wife, I don't know about girlfriend or boyfriend, because that could be, a little shaky. But have both your money going in. Let's say you make $150 on Uber or Lyft. Your wife does DoorDash. She brings in another $150. You put that in the LLC, and that's a six-figure business right there. You only need one of you to have good credit. Now you can go out and finance better cars, or run those in the ground and get a newer family vehicle that you only use for your personal. Run the other two cars in the ground. Something like that. Because you have now the credit, the borrowing power, you can go out and get a grant. There's so much you could do once you set up an LLC. Like right now, I'm looking at grants. I'm not pulling the trigger yet. I wait till my score hits a certain number, and then I'll pull the trigger and start getting some funding. I've been down this road, so I know once I start doing the credit card videos, go on my channels, watch some of my older videos. I'm showing you the proof of the credit cards I've gotten from having a business. And that was a business that was a failure. I don't consider myself a really positive business until when the credit comes in, I don't really need it. It's just an extension of money that's already coming in. That's when you know you have a successful business, I believe. Where you don't even really need the credit now, but opportunities could come up. So you still want to go after corporate credit, business credit, just in case. What's the opportunity? You can have a line of business credit and see an opportunity come up and have that money go to your own personal account so you can put it down on a piece of real estate. You can have the down payment already set aside, deposited in your personal account 3 months ahead of time, so it doesn't look like you're doing it last minute, so they don't ask no questions. And now you have the down payment for some good real estate deal you came across. Opportunity to buy a business that's turnkey. They already got employees. All you gotta do is pay the money and have all the wires, all the money that's wired to your business bank account. I think the possibilities are endless, but it starts with that first, what I like to call family LLC. You got to get that first company up, started, and running. And you got to, at some point, you're going to have to pay taxes. I don't like it. But you can write off enough so it minimizes what you really have to pay. That's the good thing. So if you get the right team, tax professionals, you shouldn't have an issue with that. That's not my area, but I think the possibility is endless once you have the know-how and the education, because I now know enough that I can build this company up, raise the money to build a even bigger company, if you could believe it. An even bigger company than this one that I'm building currently right now, that I'm probably going to take public or sell later. But that's when I want to involve other people. That's when I want to raise money. I probably have another year for that. So I don't want to jump the gun and do too much. Right now, just focusing on this one LLC, I'll have content forever. Because once the credit lines come in, like I said, I've been down this road. I know the views are going to come. I know everything else is going to fall into place once I start getting the views, because then I'll be able to get subscribers to whatever platform I want to send them to. So I'm prepared or I am preparing for success now. I'm getting all the, payment processes in order. I have my website. I have a properly built, structured LLC to get funded. And I'm in the low 700s on the personal side. I'm trying to get that up to about 720 to 750, probably before I pull the trigger. Get all the derogatories off my credit. I got one derogatory I got to handle. And probably pull the trigger on one or more personal line before I go and jump into the business funding. And I'm ready to go. So I'm excited for the rest of this year. I'm excited for even next year, and we ain't even get there yet, because I'm so geared up, because I finally have the education I need to build my future, and I'm not old enough to retire yet, so I still have some time to get some money in place. I do owe some one thing that doesn't show up on my personal credit, but I do owe it. And I owe the EIDL loan that I got during the pandemic. It's about $72,000 that I'm paying off. But that's pretty much it. I'm paying down all the credit cards. I got like 2 credit cards I'm paying down to 0. Then I'm back in the game. Hopefully by then, Relay Bank will see what I'm doing. They'll offer me the credit card, and I'll get that probably. And we'll take it from there. We'll see where we're going in the future. I got a lot of plans. I got ideas for content forever. I'm not too worried about what the content is going to look like in the future. Because I already know once people start seeing lines of credit, the content always gets better. It always does. It always gets better. I always get more views. I'm pretty sure that once the lines of credit, even grants, I'm pretty sure my views are going to go up when I show the grants I receive. My dream is to get like a $10,000 grant. That would be really good right now. Even 5. I'll keep it real. Even 5. I would say 5 or higher, I'd be excited. Anything under 5, still helps, So if I get a $10,000 grant, really that's just money for me to probably take half of it and create a new relationship with a new credit union or bank. Or just keep that money in Navy Federal and maintain that personal relationship. I could do that. And then I want to go back and fix my old holding company that I have in Navy Federal. See what I could do to get that position right. Maybe I could use that company to do some stuff later. But that's all I got for you guys today. I really want to thank you guys for sitting there, listening to me rant. Check out my other videos. I got some good content about where I got my, well, you already know, I said it, Relay Bank. I use formerly InkFile Busy to be the registered agent and to do everything. I got another company I'm using for my business domain and email. I did get a business phone number, an actual business phone number, local phone number, just to go on my listings. I'm probably never going to use that phone number other than that, but just to go on my local business listings. And hopefully I'll have some good news for you soon about a grant or possible line of credit, But I want to thank you guys so much that have been watching for a few years and you really try to support me, please comment, even if it's just hi, hello. We watch you, we support you. I really would make my day if you just be like, yeah, we'll continue support or continue growing. It really would make me feel good because I want to see you guys grow. You know, I really do. But some of you gotta take action. Sit down. I don't even care if you don't watch me. Watch somebody else and take action today. Start that business. Thank you.